Hi, you guys. We're going to go ahead and start skill 13, graphing exponential functions. So once we begin, let's just define an exponential function. So it's a function where the variable is the exponent. So kind of like this, our x is an exponent, or our variable is an exponent. So some examples of what this may look like is my x is an exponent. My x is still an exponent. If I added an x there, my x is still an exponent. So this is just a basic definition of an exponential function. Now we're going to go ahead and practice inputting into the exponential function. So my function is 10 to the power of x. I need to make my exponent, or my input, a -1, a 0, a 1, a 2, and a 3. This would be 1,000, this would be 100, this would be 10. Remember, anything to the 0 power is 1. To rewrite the exponent as a positive, I move it to the bottom, so this is just 1 over 10. So that's just how we complete tables for exponential functions. This is asking us to graph it using 5 points. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. I'm going to put my work there, and then this will be my final point. So the reason I picked a few below 0, 1 at 0, and 2 above 0. So I'm going to do 4/3 to the -2. I can flip the exponents to make that a +2, or I can flip the fraction, so this is 9 over 16. So I end up with -2 comma 9 over 16. 4/3 to the -1. I flip that by making it become 3 over 4 to the power of 1, which is 3 over 4, so I have the point -1, 3 over 4. Anything to the 0 is 1, so I have the point 0, 1. 4/3 to the first is 4/3. 1 4/3. 4/3 squared is 16 over 9. And now I can go ahead and plot these. This is not going to be perfect. Oh no. So it would end up looking something like this. We're going to keep practicing these, but that's what it would end up looking like. This also asks us to plot using 5 points. So I'm going to go ahead X point, and then the work. I can still make that this would become -8/9. So it's the point -2, -8/9. A -1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. So I have 0, -2. Anything to the first power is going to stay as it is. So what this ends up looking like guys, I'm going crazy. Well, let me write them. 1 second. Okay, now we're going to talk about the idea of asymptotes, which is a line that continually approaches a curve, but they never meet. So our asymptotes, if we look at this graph, it's going closer and closer and closer to this. I'm going to make it blue because it's already blue. This blue line here, but it will never actually cross it. So there's an asymptote at y equals -3. Here, there's an asymptote at y equals 0. It will never actually cross y equals 0. Here, it's going closer and closer to y equals 1. So that's what an asymptote is. It's like an invisible line that we approach and get closer and closer to, but we'll never actually cross. Okay, so this is similar to what we've done. It's asking us to graph the function and draw the asymptote. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and pick 5 points. Um, So at -2 we have almost 7, -1, -3 we have 0, 1 we have 2, 2 we have 4/3. So another way to remember, the asymptote is always whatever added at the end. So we added a 0. So I would draw my asymptote at that'll expand 2. I'd add my asymptote at 0 then. So y equals 0, that's what it's approaching. So we started with exponential functions like this. If we add in the exponent, a positive c means left c, and negative c means right. However many that is, and then if we add outside is up. If we subtract outside, that means down d. So if I look at this, this plus 2 means left 2, up 1. So I started here, I went up 1, left 2. And that's how that moved from there to there. If I look at this one, normally it would look like this. This plus 1 meant left 1, down 3. So left 1, left, I started here, went left 1, down 3. So that's how that would move. So this is how we shift. We're going to go ahead and practice. So this is how the graph naturally is. This is going to go right 2, down 4. So right 2, down 4. This also means my asymptote is now at 4 instead of 0. Sorry, I drew that in the wrong spot. So that one's in green. It looks something like that. The last concept we're going to talk about is domain and range of exponential functions. Domain is the input. It is usually all real numbers with an exponential function. Range is the output. And it is affected by the asymptote. So here's the question. It asks about the domain. I'm going to highlight my x's. I can put in any number. So my domain is all reals. However, the lowest y I can get out is a 2 because that's where my asymptote is. So my range is y is greater than 2 because I'm never going to get the 2 value because I have an asymptote there. We'll talk through this one. I can put in any number. So my domain, sorry. Is all reals. My range is, I'm not going, everything is below 4. So y is less than 4. Okay, good job. That's skill 13.